responsibility that we're given to sell alcohol be reviewed, and if in fact a security guard were to be required at that point in time, the city would have the opportunity to do it. If the city were to say single beers is not something we wish to see here, they can place that condition. So I ask that this board provide a certain amount of trust in this business and understand that we are suggesting that the safeguards be put in place. This is not planning 10 years ago. This is planning where the city of Los Angeles has put teeth into its planning decision, its contracts.
Brenda.
One, more about prevention than intervention. Therefore, I cannot stand behind, I'm not in the board or anything, but as a community member, I cannot stand behind your whole enforce it later. You need to prove first that you guys are going to be responsible to then be able to You guys are about making profit. It ain't about the transit people. The transit people are moving because the Orange Line, the Metro Rapid, all the lines that have been open have met a need for transportation. Not the fact that there's alcohol sales or not. If anything, there's been an improvement because there are no alcohol sales. So, as community members, I suggest that you take it back a notch and actually reconsider everything that the actual community is telling you and adhere to that if you actually want to expand that business there, because that's what we're
asking not to be deemed guilty before being proven innocent.
The man in the hat. Man in the hat.
We're suggesting that conditions be placed, if in fact after 6 months.
Can I say that?
Yes,
The man in the hat is recognized.
Gary.
I like calling him the man in the hat.
First of all, if I invested $650,000 in a store, I wouldn't be in Texas right now. I'd be right here at this meeting.
Yeah.
That's first of all.
Yeah, exactly.
Secondly, too many people are talking about a security guard putting the store out of business. They've got the money for the security guard. That's not the issue with the security guard. It's the fact that a security guard at the door might prevent the wrong element from even trying to walk in there. It's not the price of the security guard. They can afford that.
That's right.
Everybody's thinking it's going to put them out of business because they got to pay for a security guard. That's not the issue, like I'm repeating. It's the fact that the bad element is going to be reluctant to go in that door. So what they want to do is take a chance that the bad element might come in there and not do anything bad. I don't think the community wants to wait to see what happens with that.
Correct.
Fair enough.
So why not have a security guard? Not paint a picture of a security guard at the door. Not dress up an employee as a security guard. But what's the problem with having a security guard? It's a very small price to pay.
Correct.
If I may respond, and I'd like you to, what do you think a security guard costs?
I don't know, but it's a good investment.
What do you think it costs?
They make minimum wage.
$25
Minimum wage.
It'll be $15 an hour in a few years? Maybe?
No, they make about $9 an hour right now.
No, it costs $25 an hour.
A security guard.
$25 an hour.
Sure,
You
that's
hire the
We don't have a
company.
parking lot. We don't have a
There's
parking lot.
insurance.
We have 2 employees on the site. In a few years, that's going to be $15 an hour, with all of the add-ons that employees require. A security guard is another couple employees that are on the site. That's what the value is of that security guard.
How about giving some training to an employee and putting them in a uniform?
What we can do,
Double up.
what we do is we put television screens so that people walk in, they know they're being recorded. You've got cameras around the building. You have signs around the building. You have a well-lit building. You have trained employees. And if in fact our employees
worked at an Arco, and there was, I couldn't even count the number of cameras in that store.
And I
And
had
still they were
gamers.
running in there, grabbing the beer, and going out with it.
we're locking the doors.
Yeah, we hear you.
Call the question, George, next.
Yeah.
Michael, just, all right. We're going over just enough. We're going over the same points over and over again. Mr. Pauls, enough. Just enough. Enough. You've been recognized more than 5 times. Enough. That's enough. Now, everyone, relax. Mr. Pauls, are you willing to meet the conditions of what came out of the Plum Committee?
Yes.
So what's the problem here, everyone?
Yeah.
This is our own Plum Committee.
It's,
With
their
a
security
security
guard.
guard.
Yes, but it says part-time security on call Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This came out of our Plum Committee.
On-call meeting,
Listen.
meeting that they
The
come.
Plum
Could you do a part-time security guard on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, not call it on-call? Like you just tweak that a little bit, have security Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Or at least look into that?
That needs to get
We can look into it.
defined.
Okay,
That needs to be
would that be
defined.
the defining issue? Would we be
Yes,
happy
yes,
with that?
yes.
If it
And
wasn't
have
on
it-
call and it
if
was
we
just
have
a
to
part-time
take hours
security
on
guard?
those days.
This came out of our own Plum Committee. This man,
That's a recommendation only.
excuse me, this man has gone through 9 hours of this and a couple hours today.
And this
So
community has
let-
gone through hours of destruction.
Let's try to come to some kind of resolution or where we can
Call
all
it for a
meet,
vote then.
where we can all meet in the middle.
Call it for a
So,
vote and see what it
enough,
goes.
all right, relax. So, you would be able to make the stipulation that a part-time security guard Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
What we'd like to do is I'd like to look into it,
okay?
but I'd like.
But do you want us to vote on this exact thing?
No, we'll
That
vote
exact
without
thing
knowing.
calls
No.
for,
If we,
that calls for a security service.
okay, so, I mean, I'm feeling, I don't know about the rest of the feeling in the room, but if we vote on this
It's not gonna
exact thing,
it's
then
not
it
gonna
won't,
fly.
it won't fly.
Nope, for
If
sure.
we give this, if we give you what you obviously know where we're coming from.
I do.
And you can take this back to the lady in Texas and say, they're hell-bent on the security guard.
She will be back.
Okay,
Let me offer this.
yes,
This vote essentially it has to be re-voted on next week.
That's true.
anyways, Okay?
can you come before us
So
next week?
allow us to engage Officer Fisher,
Yes,
as you've met with Officer Fisher.
It has nothing
Let's-
to do with Officer Fisher.
Let us meet
It's vice.
with Officer Fisher, let me talk to the business owner,
okay.
and let me come back to you with respect to those
Are we good with
specific
that? Can we
questions.
table it till next
Have
week?
it here next
Marilyn, jump in here.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When that store was open, they had a grand opening, they had a lot of music playing, and I was in the Dodge dealership buying a car, and you couldn't hear anybody talk. So this music here, somewhere it says.
Yeah, music outdoors.
Add music to the exterior, I'm not for that.
The music in the exterior is actually going to be soft, it's going to be music, essentially. It's not going to be Kayla department.
Well, it wasn't Caleb. It
No,
was
no.
Caleb.
What it does.
That's not Kayla,
But it
whatever
was
it is.
really loud.
That's
You
not,
could not
that's
go
not
places.
going to be,
Hey, come on,
it's
it's
not going to be more than
I'm
that.
against.
All right, so Mr. Pauls, you can, we're gonna go ahead and table this with the recommendations of the council. We will be back here next week, doing special meetings on training and everything. Will you please echo our concerns to the owner? And come back for another healthy and vigorous debate next week?
Well, hopefully it won't be vigorous debate, because hopefully we'll focus on just a couple of issues.
Derek?
This should really go to next month's meeting, because that day where everyone's gonna be trained, that's gonna take up time in itself, and this,
Is this time sensitive for you?
Too much on the agenda. It has to go to next month.
Let me find out,
Okay.
I can get back, I can get in contact with you, let me find out when the public hearing is.
That's fine, okay. But if worse comes to worse, we'll expedite it and put it on next week, but it would be very good for all of us to digest this and work on it next month. All right, so are we good with that, council? We're gonna table the motion? Are we all right with the recommendations? All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pauls, for, this is just our council. We just do this to everyone, so.
No, I have a healthy respect for everybody.
Well,
The
good.
neighborhood council. I've been working with this neighborhood council since January of this year, and, I appreciate all the comments and all the interest. It does reflect a healthy debate, a
Yes.
good community, and we're here to prove that we can actually.
We talk it out like a family, so very good. Thank you, Mr. Pauls.
Thanks
All
for
right,
your time, everyone.
let's go down the list here. We're almost done, and we can wander off and see our families and say hi to the cat and everything else. All right, moving down the list. 8D, the VNNC to address the concerns of Albert Hernandez. He wanted to attend the neighborhood council meeting to see if something can be done about the parking. Mr. Hernandez, are you in the room? Okay, he's not. Moving on. 8E, the VNNC to implement and fulfill the Education Reform Summit. This has been bumped to October. Stacy's in charge. Next week's meeting will be training and we can schedule an argument if you guys like. I know that's fine. We'll just put it as generic argument, and I'll put it on the agenda, all right? Very good. Moving on, 8F, the VNNC to hear a speech and presentation from Jessica about illegal street vending. She got caught up at another meeting. She will be at Bank tomorrow if anyone wants to go. Tomorrow we have a congressman, a state senator, and an assembly member going, so by all means go and represent us. Next up, 8H, the VNNC to ask Dunn to do a community Saturday calendar of events to learn more about the city of LA. Mr. Secretary, can you speak on that, please?
Briefly, it was more than the tourist thing that was implied there. It is that there are many different community groups in the city that hold events that would be of interest to us. Would you like to go down and see what's happening on the LA River? Would you like to go downtown and understand the downtown design? Things like that that are more of interest that will create more synergy. The group has very little synergy. It also is a lead to something more like an extension of the Sunshine lectures, which I went to and others did.
Very good. Bumping it to Secretary's report. Do you have anything for us, Mr. Secretary, or just the approval of the minutes?
The approval of the July minutes. I'm still holding on the other one.
Okay, so I make a motion we approve the July minutes.
Seconded.
With that, I call for the vote.
Just a second. Was a second on that?
The second is
I'll second it.
Jerry Martin.
We can't vote.
All right, well then we'll do all that next week. Jeanette, do you have a brief treasurer's report for us?
Same thing with mine. We still have a little money left in the account. As I mentioned before, I snuck the $2,500 to the police department, so the half that we said we'd give them, and now we want to give them the other half because they're going to get matching funds, which would be, we have 5, then they can get 5 from another source. It's a grant, so we have to fill out the paperwork requesting that grant on their behalf. Then they'll get 10 grand, and they can really spruce up that old building, which I'm very much in agreement with. We only spent, I do have it, I put it back in here because I thought I wasn't going to have to give a report. Pull it out real fast, hopefully. We spent very little this month because I already been kind of busy and I haven't been able to go run out, so maybe that's what we didn't have any money, but I can see it. So I can tell you, it's not a lot.
We can do it next week.
We could.
Why don't we?
Yeah, let's do it next week. Let's go ahead and do that. That's a great idea. You guys are full of great ideas. We should have like a blog. Yes. All right, very good. Let's hear from the world's greatest parliamentarian, coming from the west side, ladies and gentlemen, from the Venice NC.
Thank you.
You have the floor, sir.
Now I have one for you. So I'm here tonight representing the Congress of Neighborhoods, which is coming up. It's also known as the Neighborhood Council Congress. Please get out your papers and save this date, Saturday, September 26th. We're going to see all of you there, right?
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
Okay, and here's the endorsement right here. Okay, it's at City Hall. It starts at 7:30 in the morning. We go all day. We see the mayor. We give you free breakfast. We give you free lunch. Oh, there's my assistant. So this year we've expanded. We usually have about 25 sessions. This year we're going to have 40 sessions. So we've got all kinds of things, everything you wanted to know about the city. At neighborhood councils, we have everything from the basics, basic outreach, basic land use, how to run a meeting, all the way to land use. We have a session called Don't Just Say No, which you almost did. How to work with developers to get the best project for your neighborhood. So, from what I saw just 15 minutes ago, most of you need this. It's how to negotiate, you know, and because you can get all kinds of things from developers if you approach it the right way, okay? So we're doing things about how to work with the media, which is something we've never talked about before, all right? How to meet your city officials, working with city council offices. There's something there for everybody please, everybody show up, it's really important. And the best part, right, here's my plug, the best part is you get to network with people from all over the city. And we encourage you, like at lunch, you know, don't sit with your own council. Go sit with other people and talk and see how people are doing things around the city. It's incredible when you find some of these things out. You go, wow, we should be doing that. You know, so please, that's my commercial. Good luck.
Very good.
Okay.
Glenn Bailey.
Glenn, you missed the crowd again. The room was
I
filled.
was helping your person do their funding training.
Good.
So I missed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, you're right, I missed the earlier crowd. So Glenn Bailey, just a reminder, Valley Alliance and Neighborhood Councils